Welcome back to Project 613. Today we will talk about the Torah's polygraph test, the ancient Torah's method of detecting whether or not a defendant is lying when denying charges. And this all comes under the purview of the mitzvah we are discussing these days, that when two people are arguing over money, they have to come to a beit din, to a Jewish court, and the law needs to be determined as prescribed in the Torah. As we learned yesterday, the specific case described in the Torah is when the plaintiff demands, let's say, a payment of £100, and the defendant says, "No, I don't owe you 100. I only owe you 50." Well, here we have an interesting scenario where, by the defendant's own admission, he has established the case against himself. Were he to deny the entire claim, then the case would be closed, because we're talking about a case where there are no witnesses and there's no documentation. But by his own admission, yes, a partial admission, but by his own admission, he has substantiated the claim of the plaintiff, and now he is obligated to pay the part that he admits to, but it is now also the job of the beit din to determine whether or not he is lying about the rest. And as we mentioned yesterday, this is where the Torah says that he is to undergo a shivuah. This is a test to see if he's telling the truth. We make him swear, pronouncing the name of God, holding a Torah scroll in front of a panel of judges at the beit din, and we assume that a regular person, even if they would be willing to lie, they would not be prepared to lie holding a Torah scroll and pronouncing the name of God. And this is the way we determine whether or not he is in fact telling the truth about the rest of this claim. Now, there are additional cases where the Torah tells us that this method, this test, is used, and specifically in other two cases. Number one is a watchman, someone who was supposed to be watching something for someone, and when they come to collect it, the watchman denies having it, or says it was lost and has no idea where it is, and denies having any negligence involved. He is to swear as well that he wasn't negligent. This is another example of when this is used. And the third example is if the plaintiff only has one witness to substantiate his claim. So in general, we know that if someone makes a demand from someone else, they have to bring two witnesses to verify their claim. But in this situation, if the plaintiff only has one witness, then we make the defendant swear to his position. These are the three examples biblically where we have this lie detector to know whether or not this person is telling the truth. Now, although biblically we only have these three examples, the rabbis instituted many other cases where this method was used in order to try and determine the truth of a given case. One of the more common examples is the case where the defendant totally denies all claims. So, for example, if the plaintiff says, "You owe me £100," and the defendant says, "I don't owe you a penny," so technically, biblically, case is closed. We have no way of substantiating it. There are no witnesses. There's no documentation. There will be nothing to talk about. But our rabbis were concerned. At the end of the day, where there is no fire, there is no smoke. And if this person is coming to court saying that someone owes him money, perhaps that person did owe him some money, or maybe he owed him something, or there was something there. This wasn't a claim that came out of thin air. And therefore, the rabbi said that even in such a case, the defendant should make a shivuah. He should swear, holding the Torah scroll and pronouncing the name of Hashem, that he doesn't owe any money. And this is how we would be able to determine whether or not he is telling the truth. Now, of course, it goes without saying, there are certain exceptions. There are times where this lie detector could not be used, and that is for someone who was a known criminal, someone who was previously lied to the beit din. He has a track record of lying to the Jewish court. Someone who we know doesn't have any regard for mitzvot and doesn't have any respect for the name of God. Then obviously such a method would not work, and they would not be made to make this swear. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.